mentioned that he didn't know if Terraforma or Mesa/Nukem are aware. I don't know those players, y'all probably do. They are currently being asked to improve the outside, including adding shrubs and plants. Douglas Glasper at 1501 Main said, I don't think it's right to have a business like that here, and especially with a school down the street. I have 2 little girls. He also mentioned that he's concerned, as just recently someone had a halfway house next door with sex offenders. I know that's not the case here, but he obviously did not know that from the notice, and so he's misinformation. And he said, they even put a notice on my door, but there was trouble and they left. He was then frightened for his girls. Owner of a small convenience store, she did not want to be named, but you can guess who that is, said, I'm very worried about the business because it means there will be issues. West Davenport, no relation, 110 15th Street, said, I think it's a terrible idea. This neighborhood has enough trouble. I've lived here long before we met, he's talking about met us, and your family has been the best thing that's happened to the neighborhood for years. That's not a plug. I've talked to another neighbor who doesn't want their name mentioned, who said it's just a trouble getting ready to happen. Michael Anscoletto, 1501 Main Street, Apartment A. He said, if that happens, I'd rather my children not live here. I thought we were trying to make North Argenta like Argenta. I would like to eventually buy a home in this area, but I won't if this is what is going to happen. Just want to speak on behalf of other community members that couldn't be here today.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and seconded that these other items be added. Yes, ma'am, 3 minutes, please.
I'll be real quick. My name is Rennie Jenkins, and I'm an owner of 1501 Main Street and 1500 Maple Street. And I had a whole lot of things to say, but all I want to say is, number one, I think what you're doing is a really honorable and noble thing. And I love that she wants to empower women, and I come to you as a woman. And I have a whole lot of hats. I'm a special educator, I'm a mother, but most of all, I'm a mother to my 5 kids. And when we talk to our tenants that live in the house that we own, that was their big fear. That was their fear when they go outside riding their tricycles or whatever, is the neighborhood going to be less safe because of this? And so that's my only concern, is how is this going to be an asset to our community? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jenkins. We have a motion and second to add these. On the motion, please call the roll.
Correct.
No, we're not
Adding
voting
these
on the
4 items.
application. We're voting to or not to add these requirements to the 11 considerations already mentioned. Please call the roll.
Velasco,
Yes.
Chambers,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
White, Wallace,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Chairman Clifton.
Yes. Okay, these will be added too. All
Mr.
right?
Chairman, point of order.
Mr. Chambers.
I move to postpone this issue to give the applicant time to talk to the members of the community.
Motion made. Is there a second for postponement?
Second.
Motion made that this application be postponed to give the applicant time to talk to
The neighbors.
the neighbors and community. Mr. White?
I think this is a total waste of time to do this. It still has to go to city council for approval. I think they can talk all day to the neighbors. They were talking to me, and I was a neighbor down there. It's just not going to work on Main Street, guys, ladies and gentlemen. But we vote on this and let the city council decide what's going to happen. There's no reason for us to postpone it. If the city council wants to postpone it and let them get together, then let the city council do it. But our job is recommending body, and I think we need to make our recommendation today, and however it falls, it falls.
Okay, Mr. Foster.
I'm caught between 2 of these issues here. I'm all for postponing this and, letting the neighbors and the applicant view the neighbors, but can I get some kind of a yay or nay from those folks that are here, that live in the neighborhood or have business in the neighborhood? Is there anything the applicant can do to change your mind? Do you think it's a waste of time?
Spokesman, Mr. Davenport.
The question is it a waste of time to ask the applicant to speak to you? Will it change your minds?
I'm unable to answer that question, Mr. Chamber.
Okay, Mr. O'Neill?
It would be silly or not very prudent to say my mind couldn't be changed, but I'm always concerned when it looks like something is not above board, something is not honest, because when I get a notice it's going to affect something that I've invested my money in for the last 20 years, and all I get is one piece of paper that says there's going to be a meeting down at the City Hall concerning a property change. I didn't know about drug offenders. I didn't know about residency. I didn't know, and when you say drug offenders, marijuana, who goes to prison for marijuana? Who goes to jail for marijuana? So is it meth? Is it cocaine? Is it heroin? And what's the chance that someone who is a drug offender on a very, very, very strong drug being rehabilitated? So you would have to have someone here who is a pharmacologist or psychiatrist or psychologist or someone who's advanced in social work to be able to tell us the chances of this type of program succeeding. And then I listen, 2 years? 2 years? You're going to review it 2 years from now. 2 years is almost like a lifetime in terms of people. And then I'm just wondering, do people really change that much? How old are these people? How old are they? Why haven't they changed already? I mean, it's good to have noble causes. I've had a lot of noble causes that cost me a lot of money over the years, like the North Little Rock Cultural Center, for example.
Mr. O'Neill, if you were to get answers to those questions, could you change your mind?
If the spirit inside of me said yes,
Okay,
but it's going to be judged by some godly standards, and that's sometimes hard to get past.
okay,
Not social standards or worldly standards.
thank you. That's the question before us now. Thank you.
I think I got my question answered because I saw a lot of heads nod and no, so I'm going to rescind my second for the motion.
I think the representative from the sheriff's office would like to permit it, make one quick comment.
One 3-minute comment, please.
I just wanted to say I can completely understand like what your concerns would be with this. Addiction is addiction, and if it's marijuana or heroin or meth or cocaine, it's still addiction. But I also buried 2 graduates last week from the opioid epidemic, and that is 4 children that is affected by those people right there. So why not give them the chance to be successful? My last class of women that had 20 had almost 55 women or children that were affected by those classes. So why not give them the tools? I think that everyone is worth giving that back to, and you'd be surprised a lot more do get better and do get out and are successful than the ones that are not. But I would also like to challenge you guys to come by our facility and talk to these people that you would be helping. I understand there's concerns, but it does work. So if we're always open to having people come and see what we're doing. So.
Thank you, Ms. Goff. There's a motion on the floor, seconded, that this be postponed until our next meeting.
I recommend a roll call vote.
Please call the roll on the
Mr.
motion
Chairman.
on the floor to postpone.
I think Mr. Foster rescinded his second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Yes,
that.
I did.
Okay, the motion is, the second has been rescinded, so the motion dies for lack of second.
I call.
Questions called on the application as presented, as amended. Please call the roll.
White. Phillips. Foster.
No.
Wallace.
No.
Velasco.
No.
Chambers.
I never got a chance to answer Mr. O'Neill's question. But yes, I would want this facility next door to me. It's better than the current facility I have, which is a boarding house. I vote yes.
Chairman Clifton.
No. Your application did not pass. You do have the option to go before the city council. This is a recommendation. The recommendation will come from the planning commission with a do not pass. So you may take it before the city council with sponsorship of one of your aldermen. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation in this. It is always a bad situation when you have a worthy project and everyone can agree on the conditions and what it should be. Hopefully, you will find success in another location that will be beneficial to you. Thank you. Next order of business, public comment. Anyone?
Move for adjournment.
Motion made and seconded. Vote, Mr. Foster?
Kind of add to what our initial conversation, I didn't want to waste these folks' time, but on our review of our ordinance, I was hoping that we would have maybe some kind of a
Plenary discussion.
well, yeah, something that's kind of a discussion between us, and it may be a presentation from the staff, make sure we all
You're not
understand
getting
that.
your,
Kind of
you're not-
workshop is what I'm
You're
trying
not
to say.
getting your stuff. Our staff has provided that opportunity for us.
May I address you, Chairman Clifton?
Yes, sir.
Your staff member has done an excellent job on this, and at my advice, because legal is still taking a look at a couple of things, I've asked him to refrain from getting too deep into this tonight. So please don't throw, I don't want Sean to be thrown under the bus. He's worked very hard on this. It's at my request that, because legal is still looking at this. Okay?
Very good. Yes,
What
sir.
I was suggesting is maybe, not tonight, obviously, not have a workshop tonight, but has that already been scheduled? I haven't had a chance to look at your recent
22nd.
information because I'm waiting for a public
Mr.
hearing.
Spencer, would you please,
Okay,
We're
thank you.
tell him?
meeting early, the subdivision meeting will be at noon, next two Wednesdays from now,
Okay.
give us a 2-hour workshop on that.
What day is that?
22nd,
Okay.
Sean, is the entire commission invited?
if I need a heads up if they are, but
If you're going, give them a heads up so they can buy you lunch.
I'm not saying that. Just give me a call and
So, I don't mind to come if need be, but I probably won't come unless you need me. So is it going to be a mandatory?
no, it's not mandatory.
Okay.
It will be to review the proposed changes that they are making.
I understand, but I wanted to be sure that if I need to be there, I need to put it in
It
my,
is not mandatory.
okay.
Mr. White?
One question on what I brought up earlier. What is our requirement on like liquor stores and
Liquor store.
what is it normal?
yeah, Is 1,200 feet for a liquor store to be from a school.
Okay, so is there any way in
Church.
this, on what we just voted against, special use, is there any way to put those same conditions automatically on a special use?
Well, all special
Oh.
uses will be different, so a daycare,
No, I'm talking about that we can't have a liquor store within, and I'm not, liquor store is the wrong one. We can't have this type of deal within 1,200 foot of a Boys or Girls Club or a school or a church or whatever. Can that be put in automatically under one of the requirements of, is this special use or conditional what we're doing?
special use. So,
Special.
yes, you could add a condition that says, and again, we're not sure what the name of this thing is.
Yeah.
It's not a halfway house.
Right.
So, but
I think
you
what
can
Mr.
put a, yes, you could say 1,000 feet from whatever you want to call this.
Right. I
would-
think what
you'd have
Mr.
to be
White
waived.
is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you just asked in the zoning ordinance.
Yes.
Under special use, can you put a criteria that says if it's a halfway house, any kind of correctional oriented facility, it shall be 1,200 feet from as a absolute condition?
Yes.
No matter what special use?
Yes.
But don't we have that covered under meet state requirements?
You would have to have, there are special uses and conditional uses, there's potentially an infinite number of things that we couldn't conceive. And so I don't know of anything in state law that prohibits it, but remember, a city only has the powers conferred, except for, we do have home rule, but we only have the powers conferred by the state legislature on a city. So I would think you would want to research that question first, do some legal research. But because you couldn't know what a potential future special use is, the condition, a outright
Blanket condition?
an overall condition like that may not be appropriate, and it may preclude uses that are otherwise permitted. So, you know, just like you did tonight, had you passed the proposal tonight, you put conditions on it. You know, but I'm not suggesting, Commissioner White, that can't be done, but I would like to look at it legally.
But let me ask you this then, could I have tonight put in a special condition that it be 1,200 feet from a school, and if that's 1,200 feet before a school, then they can't do it, it's a done deal? Can that be added to that?
I would need to do legal research on that.
Okay, I'm good.
I guess I'd have problems thinking if the property that they're asking about is 900 feet from a school, that you'd put that condition on it and automatically take the property out of the running.
Well, no, but we just said we could put
against it.
conditions on it.
The one question that occurred to me, and I guess this is the ask the city attorney time, but if a valid complaint came up and we did have to shut down a special use, how long does it take the city to shut down a special use that's in violation of their special use?
Well, you could go before the council, you know, like you guys revoke, or the council rather, revokes business licenses if they haven't been used or paid, for instance, you know.
So what you're saying, it takes about 2 weeks to a month to do.
Well, potentially. I mean, and the other thing is dependent on if the action taken not only violates the conditions of the special use, if it violates another part of the code, they could be ticketed and tried in district court.
Yeah.
So I'm not, you know, but, yeah.
Can I say one thing? Well, one thing that I didn't want to say in the presence, she made the comment more than once, it's women. Well, y'all know me, I'm mean as a snake. My grandkids will tell you, they used to say, well, I'm scared of monsters. Monsters don't come to Mama's house, Mama's meaner than the monsters. So I don't want to get anybody sucked in, well, it's women. I got large news for you. That don't matter. And then the other thing, I had a transaction at work that the city had filed, City of North Little Rock, had filed a nuisance type. It wasn't a lien, it wasn't a judgment. It came across as an agreement, an authorized agreement. And it
Was this recent?
Yeah. And it had to do, I won't call any names. We got
Say it, it's a matter of public record.
Well, it was the Motel 6. And
I'm unaware of that. My
that's what I'm
boss
saying.
dealt with that.
It was filed, this document,
Okay.
and it was filed in like maybe 15.
Yeah.
And it had to do with police calls. Well, you've got the same, I'm assuming, the same remedy for something like this. If the police are called more than X number of times,
Yes.
maybe that could be put in a special, or
Well,
maybe it's
Commissioner-
already. I don't
Commissioner
know.
Blasco, that's a great question. There is a state law that you can sue civilly if somebody, if
was
there's
in
so
circuit.
much crime occurs.
Right.
There's a state law that you can sue for public nuisance.
Okay.
If you'll remember, the city used to do the SAFE team,
Yeah.
the nuisance abatement for alleged drug, related homes and things like that.
Okay. Well,
But yes,
Amy took care
there's three different state statutes that allow you to sue for various nuisances,
Right.
various types of nuisances.
Well,
And one
the
is
reason I
where
bring it
crime
up
gets
Yeah, is in case we need to write that into, to put some teeth into a special use. You know, the nuisance ordinance or the nuisance, because I don't know the law. I'm not trying to tell you I do.
No, but Commissioner Blasco, if something is a nuisance and you guys come to our office, if something is factually, based on what the legal definition of a nuisance is, it's injurious to the public health and welfare to the, and you come to us factually, we can pursue a number of remedies. I'm suing, the city is suing an individual right now for allegedly maintaining a nuisance. We've sued somebody in the past for allegedly maintaining a nuisance, and we're talking about circuit court. They can also be ticketed and go to district court where they can be fined only. Circuit court, you can be enjoined by a circuit judge and told if you don't do this, you could subject to contempt of court. This is lots of things in the law. You don't even have to put that into a special use. I think you're talking strictly about the zoning and whether or not you're going to permit a use that is not as of right in your zoning table. And if it goes beyond that, then I'm not sure you're necessarily talking about zoning. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I just was trying to maybe, as I said, put some teeth in something, but I see where you're coming from. It's not necessary, so.
Please let it be known that none of this discussion were on the business agenda. It was strictly public comment. Thank you. Motion?
I made it earlier.
Motion made and seconded. We adjourn. All in favor, aye. Aye. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman.